Hi guys, JP here again. Well, I finished the conversion on the Luke from LGT. I wanted to show you real quick just the inside, and then I will do a demo of the board that Dark Wolf Saber's preloaded and sent me for one button setup. So this is a little tricky. It's not too bad though. My battery is like, when I finished the install, I put the battery in, closed it all up, and then I thought it was a full battery, but it wasn't. But should be enough for that demo. So what I like to do is take a small flathead screwdriver. Because after you take the pommel off, before you unscrew this, so it's not easy to get in and out of. When I got this, it was RGB, and like you see in my other video of this, the review of this Saber, as an RGB LED version. It's now converted to, I converted it to Neopixel. There is the Neopixel connectors, and that white spacer is J.R. Tyler on Facebook, Acolyte. I'll get to put the link on there for his website, or for his Facebook store that he kind of does side work. He does full-size helmets and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. He 3D prints a lot of stuff. But he did that spacer for me because I got the low profile PCB from Dark Wolf Sabers and to save room, but it came with long pins, and so I didn't want the blade sitting on those pins. So J.R. Tyler printed me a spacer that would allow the blade to sit on top of that spacer, but be enough to depress those springs, the pins, to activate the blade. So that helped out a lot. So anyway, back to this. So normally when they send us to you LED version, there is a recharge port. The Proffie, you can hook a recharge port up to it. From when I talked to some people in the groups, a USB-C like this is, it's a little more to it to hook it up. I didn't want to go through all that, so I kind of just opted out. It's disconnected, so it's not even doing anything. You know, I didn't connect it to the Proffie. So I have to take the battery out to charge, and so it's a little bit of a process to get that battery out. But I don't do a lot with my Saber, so that doesn't bother me. So, but I might take that out and put a recharge port in, like a 2.1 standard that you see on a lot of Sabers. So we'll see what that does down the road. But anyway, the button, when you unscrew this right here, there's a hex head that holds the chassis to this handle. It unscrews here. So if you just start unscrewing it, you can twist the wires all up. So you want the chassis to be free of this before you unscrew this off. So, but before I do that, even when you get that unscrewed, this button has a stem that sticks down on the inside to hit another button that's on the chassis. And that gets in the way for you to pull this over the chassis. So I like to take, it's slotted. You can kind of see those slots right there. So I just take a little flathead, tiny flat, like eyeglass size repair kit or something like that, and I kind of just go counterclockwise, and it's not usually that tight anyway. So then I can, and that pops out, and you can see it's threaded. It's spring loaded. So, see that stem, that's what hits the button inside on the chassis, okay, to activate your Saber. So I take that out, and let me grab the Allen key here. I just want to show you all that part of it, because because I have to mess with this anyway, because when I put the Proffie in, it's a little, you know, with the wiring that I did, made it a little tight for the handle to go over top, slide over top the chassis, so I wanted to fix that. So this is free right now, so I can kind of get it started, but I still want to hold on to this chassis, because I don't want the chassis to spin with this. And I said it's kind of tight, so I'm kind of turning the chassis to keep the wires untwisted as I turn the handle. I didn't want to keep doing this too much. You can see it's kind of tight in there, and it should be a little looser than that. So you can see I don't have much play. I mean, I have a little bit. I was going to put a connector on there, but I didn't. It was just more. I wanted to have the least amount of connections as possible, just for signal, you know, signal and stuff like that. Which I'm not a big electronics person, so I don't know if that would affect it. But I figured one less connection the better. So, and you can see this is kind of tight. Okay, I got the handle off. So there's the switch. That was the original switch that came with it. That's a little button. Batteries in there, you can see. I'm going to take that out since I'm messing with this. I don't want to I don't want it to be powered while I'm jostling it around. There's the Proffie I installed. I kind of just glued it in place. There was a tab here that it came with. I didn't want that there because of the buttons. I wanted to be able to get to everything, so I just cut that off. So this is the original chassis, original speaker, and button that came with the LED version. Everything else is gone. It's all new wiring. They used kind of a cheap silicone wire, which is, I guess it's fine. I mean, this is PTFE, so that's what a lot of people use. So that's what's recommended. And I got a wire loose there. Look at that. That's why I need to make this not so tight on the fit. I knew something was going to happen, so I'll fix that. But and then when I resume the video, I'll do a demo on it. That's just a little solder joint came loose, and probably from twisting, because it is kind of tight. So that's why I wanted to take this apart, because I wanted to fix that. I noticed that when I put it back together, it's a little tight in there, so I want to fix that. I was going to do a little sanding to make that fit better. So, and that's exactly why I took it apart, because I knew something like that was going to happen, being I would have to take it apart to do the recharge the battery. So I wanted to fix that a little bit better. Okay. All right, well, I will work on this, and then when I resume the video, it will be demoing the custom fonts that they preloaded on this Proffie from Dark Wolf Sabers. It's pretty cool. It's a really good deal. 45 bucks plus, I don't know, it's like $5-6 shipping, something like that. But that's a good deal for a preloaded Proffie. And when you're on his site, I'll put the link in the video. You can pick one button or two button setup if you know what your Saber is, and they'll preload that for a 1 or 2 button. This one I had preloaded for a 1 button. So, all right, I will be back with you guys shortly. Hi guys, resuming the video. Got the wire fixed. Everything's good. Sanded a little bit, and sanded a little bit, and got the chassis to fit a little bit better. Everything's back the way it was. So I'm going to just show you the stock fonts that Dark Wolf Sabers installed. So again, I'll have that in the links in the description for Dark Wolf Sabers. That'll go right to the Proffieboard that I ordered through him. I had a problem initially, thought it was a speaker when I first did the install, and it ended up not being the case. It was an SD card. I just had to pull it back out, put it back in. Sometimes with SD cards, a lot of people will have issues when they first get Sabers that they'll go on the groups asking, you know, I get like weird crackly noises. So a lot of times this can be the SD card's not, you know, sitting in there properly. Sometimes it's a cheaper SD card. This is actually a decent SD card. It was just probably with me messing with it when I was doing the install and electronic stuff that it got unseated a little bit. So, but I will show you now what comes with this Proffie. When you get them from different places, I mean, the fonts can vary. They all install different sets of fonts, so this might not be what you get. But I will put the link for this Saber. Actually, I have it in my other video of the review of the RGB LED version of this. It's the same Saber. I've just gutted it and put a Proffie install in it with the Neopixel. So actually just go to that video and there's a link for this. They have a Proffie version in that link too, directly from LGT, so you can get the LED or the Proffie version. I think it's like $250 or something for the Proffie version. I saved some money doing it myself, but that's not for everybody. But if you know, if you can solder, and I'm not the best at it, I haven't soldered in like 14 years. So I didn't do bad. I just had to touch up some stuff. But if you're not afraid of doing that kind of stuff and you have the equipment, I'd say do it yourself. Anyway, I'll just give you a little rundown on this. And I have a blade that I had from the pack store from another Saber. So I got a little bit more room than the LED version, so it goes down probably a good almost inch. And I'm only using 2 retention screws. It has 4, so you can use up to 4 at the end of this emitter. But I'm only using 2. You don't have to over tighten them. That's you don't have to go crazy. Since I'm not doing anything crazy anyway, so I don't need to tighten them so much. Okay. So with the Proffie, there's no really deep sleep mode, so I'll just see what I'll start going through the fonts.
I'm Ray.
So here's Ray. So you can see it maybe. Tip drag. And he installed gesture controls on this one, so it's probably the newest OS. So if I twist real fast, you can see if I point it down and twist, it turns, and that turns on too. So twist. I'm not too keen on the gesture stuff. Just from when you're swinging around, it might accidentally do stuff, but, and watch, I'll twist again. I'm not using a button at this point. This is like a new part of the new operating system, the new OS you can put on for the Proffie. It has Vet263, I think is his name. He does a lot of helpful stuff on the Proffie support groups on Facebook. He does videos, live videos, but he did a lot of the code for different effects. So if I twist my hand without using the button, I can activate it. Maybe. I might be doing this wrong. I'm not used to it yet. Let's see here. And it's some fonts, not all. Some fonts have twist off. I think the way this board is done, I don't think I'm doing it wrong. I think the way this board, the fonts are on here. Some of them only have twist off. Some of them have on and off. Let's see. Let me go to the next font and see. Let me try to twist. There it goes. See, it twisted and came on. So twist off, twist on. Or I can use the button. You can still use the button. I'm using the button now.
I'm right.
Oh, so let me go back to that font. You still use the button, but I'm not big on the gesture stuff, so it's up to you guys if you use them or not. And there's a code line you can put in your Proffie to access that with the new OS, like a 5.7, I think, or above. Still has color change. If you point down, hold the button, and twist, you'll hear it do-do-do, and then you can change the color. When you find the one you want, you just hold the button until you hear the beep again. And that locks it in. I'm just going through the fonts that Johnny Collado at Dark Wolf Sabers put on here. That's the battery indicator font. You can see I discharged this, so all the way toward the tip. That's all that one's for. And some people don't have that. They go, how do I get that? Well, there is a line code you can put in. That's the freaky one. Ooh. Try to get the some of them might not have melt on every font. I'll try to find one.
Smooth fuzz. Smooth gray.
I'll try to skip these because these are, you get these on almost a lot of all the LGTs.
Smooth Jedi.
But he put some different on here that I want to show you.
Road Commander. Darth Maul.
There's a new one, Darth Maul. See if this one has meld on it. So, I don't know if you can see, but you probably not with the camera, but with melt, if you as you twist the handle, as you twist the handle, it'll go like yellows to reds. So that's a pretty cool feature. That's a force effect. Usually it's a twist. See, I'm still getting used to these gestures. I don't really care for the gestures that much. But a lot of people like them. I'm just not. I'm not particular. You see, with the force, you have to. Usually, you hold it in and twist a little bit, and then it gets mixed up with that. I think it's the angle.
I've been waiting for this day for a long time.
Color in. That's the lightning effect. I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of them have some of them have transition clash for like lockup, or depending on how the angle you hold it. So if like if it's straight up, it's going to be closer to the hilt. If I point it down, you'll see it get further away. Proffie's a really cool board.
General Kenobi.
There's a Kenobi. think there's some force things with this one. Back to gesture again.
I've been waiting for this day for a long
Go
time.
back.
Goth more. I've
Still
been
get-
waiting for this day for a long
Still
time.
getting used to the gestures.
General Kenobi.
I'm not used to it at all. Trying to get. There's a force.
Hello there.
There's one. If you tap it twice, I think it's music. Or 3 times. Can't remember. It's been a while since I've played with it, so.
Hello there.
I've become more powerful than any Jedi.
This one I think has a pre-on effect, so it's like you'll hear the saying before it ignites, and I don't even have to do anything to ignite it, just watch when I hit the button.
Your swords, please. We don't want to make a mess of things in front of the Chancellor.
I'm not
You won't
touching
get away
anything.
this time, Dooku.
That's the duel between Dooku and Anakin and Obi-Wan. Beginning of episode 3, I think. Yep. See if there's any more new ones.
Empress Palpatine.
Can't really, I don't have a lot of room in here to do stuff.
Ben Solo.
If you hit the button 3 times, you get the voltage readout. Hold on. 3 times when it's off.
3.99 volts.
So that's pretty well charged. Some people sent me messages in some other videos asking, like some people say, oh, I got my Saber and all it's doing is beeping. So let me see if I can show you this. If they set it up on this Proffie the same, because I had it on my other Proffie setup, my own config setup. But I think if you hold the button while it's off and hit it, you'll hear a beep. So that beep is volume mode. So if you this is a 1 button, so every time I hit it, it goes up a notch in volume. But it only goes to max what's set on the config. And if you hold it in, I think, for a second or so and let go, it'll go down. It's a different tone, so now it's getting quieter. That weird tone, that means you're at the lowest setting. And then if you just tap it instead of holding it and letting go, if you hold it like a second and let it go, it'll go down. If you tap it, it goes up. Oh.
4.01 volts.
I turn music on. That's 2 taps for music, but See how it changed pitch? That means I'm at the max volume. Now you can go to your config when you flash your board, and there's the number, I think a lot of times is like 1200 default. I've had it up as high as 1800. You don't want to blow your speaker, so if you have a good speaker, you can fool with it. And that volume control is only going to it's never going to go above what you put in your config. So if you have 1800 in your config, it's going to go up to 1800. You can go lower and higher, lower and then back up to 18 as your max, but you can go over that. Whatever you put in there, I wouldn't go over like 2500 probably. But, so to get, see, I'm still in the menu. Some people got stuck in this. They didn't, and they did it out of the box because they didn't know what happened. They're probably playing with it. And so to get out of it, you do the same thing you got into it. You can hold it and clash. So now I'm out of it. That's weird, not retraction sound.
Have a lot of course.
That's a different font I haven't had on any of my other Sabers.
Ascension.
This is a neat one. Ooh. Good ceiling. A lot of people break their lights. I even cracked mine.
Right.
All right. So basically, I just wanted to show you guys I was happy this install turned out really good. So again, this was an LGT Luke RGB LED Saber, and I kept the chassis, which is just a plastic housing inside that holds your electronics. I kept that. I kept the speaker. I kept the switch, and that was it. So all new wiring. I put a Proffie in there, and I'm happy with my first time, and been a long time soldering. My first time doing a Saber install. Turned out great. Blade works fine, as you saw. So the Proffie was $45 plus shipping. The PCB, which I also got from Dark Wolf Sabers, that came with the pins, was $15. Not a bad deal at all. I did need a spacer. He has like Dark Wolf has different size PCBs. I really wanted the low profile. I didn't know when I ordered it was just like I should have known, but it was a disc, and with long pins. If I had short pins, you can get short pins too, so you might want to ask about it, but I just didn't want my blade sitting right on top of those pins, so that's why I got J.R. Tyler to hook me up with a spacer, which works perfect. But so that wasn't expensive. $15. J.R. Tyler only charged me, I think it was like, I gave him a little extra because, it's nice to, he's a good guy. Seemed like a good guy and worked fast on it for me. So he was charging me though $10 for that little ring ship. That's with the shipping included. So I highly recommend getting a hold of him if you have any other things. I think he does chassis. I looked at his page on Facebook, which I'll put a link to. He does, I think he said on there he does some installs. And he does multiple things, so I'd hit him up. He's a nice guy to deal with. Really good, quick. But I'm happy. Everything, when I plugged this sucker in after I finished soldering and everything, and I had a problem in the beginning. It ended up being an SD card, but when I figured that out, everything fired up, everything worked, acted as it should. I'm really happy with it. So I turned a cheaper Saber into a nicer Saber. But for those of you who don't want to mess with that, you can order this Saber in Proffie version already. And I believe that will, in the first part of the video, I was kind of going over stuff. And they do have a recharge port, I'm pretty sure, in all their versions. Mine didn't, because I did my own install, and I didn't want to mess with having to wire up the charge port. So that was my own decision. So, but, and now it's a Neopixel Link, which I'm very happy with. It doesn't have the control box. Some people like that, some people don't. I, personally, for swinging, I like the open contourness, not having that box. I mean, because you'd have to hold above it. Doesn't look as authentic, which, to me, I mean, I've always wanted a thin neck, and this one, in the beginning, I got this one actually by accident. I'd ordered another Saber, which was the Revan from LGT, and they accidentally sent me this one. So, they made it right, but and this was more expensive than the Revan, so they actually let me keep this at the same price that I paid for the other Revan. So it was pretty cool. And then I convert it, and it's worth more. I wanted a Neopixel version, but they have both. So check that out if you want. I have the link. I'll put all the links in the description. So I just want to show you all guys my completed install. And I'm happy with it. So, you all have a good one, and stay safe, Saber fans. All right, bye.